We're live on LinkedIn, we're live on Facebook, and we're live on YouTube. We're also live on my podcast, which includes iTunes, Amazon Music, and about 30 other streaming sites, which I just think is absolutely fantastic. You know, when I started doing this, helping small businesses to grow 28 years ago, you know, if I wanted to get a marketing message out to 1,000 people, that virtually involved either spending money on advertising or, you know, somewhere, or, you know, doing direct mail, you know, sticking letters in envelopes and stamps on them and then trudging down the post office with 1,000 envelopes, you know, and how the world has changed. So great to be here. Thank you for your time. So today I'm talking about why small businesses don't work and what to do about it. And just before I start, I just want to lean over to my massive book collection and show you that book. Because what I'm going to talk about is based around this book. It's by a guy, as you can see, called Michael Gerber. It's the E-Myth, which is the entrepreneurial myth. The myth that most people, when they go into business, they do so because they're entrepreneurs. And as Gerber says, they're not actually. What they are is technicians believing that they are and acting as though they are, but not actually doing the work of the entrepreneur, which is why small businesses don't work and what to do about it. So I'm going to talk to you not about the whole book. The reason I'm showing it is I just think, you know, if you've not read it and you're in business, you really ought to buy it. Honestly, it's, in my opinion, it's the best business book ever written. I'll be as strong as that. So, you know, go and buy the E-Myth. I'm not on commission. I can't sell it you. You can go and buy it on Amazon, I'm sure, or other places, and, you know, go and buy that book. So, let's just start by looking at why do people go into business, you know? When you hear things like 80% of all businesses that start this year will go bust within 5. Now, that's in a normal year. That's not like, you know, this year, because it's really tough and we've got wars and recessions and inflation and, you know, all that stuff, and we come out of COVID and, you know, there's a lot of uncertainty around. You know, you would assume that that figure in 5 years' time might be, unless things change, be even more difficult. But anyway, you know, the stats are that 80% of businesses fail. So why is that? Why do they fail? Well, again, according to Gerber, it comes back to the reason people start in business. And often, he actually calls it in the book, technicians, people who do work, suffering from an entrepreneurial seizure. Now, my take on that is what he actually means is somebody who's good at doing what they do, believing that they can run a business that does what they do. That is the nucleus of the problem. And so what happens is the garage mechanic opens his own garage, the hairdresser opens his or her own hairdressing salon, the lawyer opens their own legal practice, the HR manager opens up their own HR consultancy, the landscape gardener opens up a landscape gardening business, and so on and so forth. And the mistake that Gerber says they make, and I absolutely believe, is that they believe because they've got the skills to do the work of the business does not mean that they've got the skills to run a business that does that work. Are you with me? Now, I could be really good at landscape gardening or doing a set of accounts or, you know, repairing cars, whatever, but all I am there is a self-employed person. And people in business get so involved operationally, they spend all their time doing the work. When I say all, I mean what tends to happen, to be honest. They spend all their main core business hours doing the work of the business, and then they do the other work in the evenings and weekends. That's what happens a lot. I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, I've got a decorator in my house that you can see behind me. I've got my office is like in the garden at the back of the house, actually at the back of the garage. And we've got a decorator in there. Now, he's been in there every day for the last, I don't know, it could be 3 weeks now, actually. It's about that long. We're having a load of work done. He's been in there every day. He arrives at, about 8:30 in the morning, and he's gone by about 5-ish, something like that. So whilst he's in my house decorating, who's running his business? Who's handling his calls? Who's chasing leads? Who's doing the invoicing? Who's doing all the other work that's required in that business? He must be doing it because, you can't just go, right, well, I'm not doing any more work then. But actually what he's doing, I'm sure, is doing it in the evenings and he's doing it at the weekend. And as far as marketing's concerned, he's probably not doing it at all, to be honest. And that is the same picture with, I'm going to say 80-90% of really small businesses, your micro business. And Gerber says your job is to get out of that. Unless you're happy doing that, if you just want to be a self-employed person and not a real business, then that's fine. But if you want to grow, what you don't want to do is to grow to a level where you're just so incredibly busy. You're working 60, 70, 80 hours a week and you're not actually earning any more money than you did when you worked for somebody. And that's a scenario that happens all too often. I always remember a very good friend of mine telling me that when you run your own business, he said the good thing is you only have to work half a day. And I looked at him, I said, what do you mean? This is back like years ago when I first started. He said, oh yeah, it's an actual fact. You only have to work half a day. He said, not only that, but you get to pick which 12 hours those are. And boy, is that true. I've been doing this for 28 years. I wonder how many hours a week I've put in for all that time. It's certainly a lot more than I would have done if I'd done 37 hours working for XYZ Limited. So, it's a really important thing to think about is your time and where you spend it. If you're spending all your time doing it, making it, shipping it, just working in the business as a mechanic, as a landscape gardener, as a solicitor, as a whatever it is your business does, then who is running your business and how on earth are you going to grow it enough to get to a level where you don't have to do all that work? That's a ultimate job, isn't it? You don't see Richard Branson, punching tickets on aeroplanes as people are about to go in. He doesn't do that. He doesn't have to do that. He employs people. Now you must say, I don't want to employ people. That's fine. In this world that we live in, there are many, many different ways of making a lot of money. I think one of the biggest problems that businesses face right now, it's not like, how can I make any money? It's, out of all the thousands of different ways I can make any money, which ones am I going to select? And often they try to do too much. And I've certainly been a victim of that, fell for that one in the past myself. So if you think about what is the role then? If you're going to be successful, you've got to know what to do, haven't you? So what is the role of a business owner, which is what you are, I'm assuming. If you're listening to this, you probably own your own business. So what is the role? What should you be doing? If you think about what you are doing, if we took like what's it called, a staff structure, and said, right, you're at the top, you're the business owner here. And then underneath that, we've got the head of marketing, the head of finance, and the head of operations, who's involved in doing the work. So we've got those three departments. Then underneath that, underneath operations, we've got somebody who, for example, works repairing cars. Yeah. If you're down here, Who's doing the head of operations job, making sure stuff gets done? And who's the managing director? The answer is no one. No one. So what is the job of the managing director? The job of the managing director is to do strategic work. Building business plans, building marketing plans, making sure things happen. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, well, I haven't got time for that. I'm too busy operationally. I'm not saying you should go, right, well, I'm not doing any of that work now. I'm the director. I'm the managing director. I'm going to sit there in my ivory castle and I'm going to think strategically all day long. No. We need to move towards that. We need to make sure we're doing some of it. We need to make sure that we're doing the marketing, make sure we're doing the finance. Let me ask you a question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being really, really awful, 5 being average, typical business owner, and 10 being truly world class, where are you and where is your business in terms of how good you are at marketing that business? And within marketing, I'm going to include sales as well. How good are you at selling and converting leads? How good are you? And if we dipped further into that and said, how good is your website at generating leads? How good are you at winning and converting leads on LinkedIn? How effective is your email marketing campaign? How effective is your networking strategy? How much business do you win from referral? And do you have a system, a process of doing that? Well, then look at the financial side of the business. And I ask you the same question. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being awful, 5 being average, 10 being brilliant, where would you rate yourself? And again, to dig down, that could be in understanding the numbers in your accounts. It could be understanding cash flow, being able to read a balance sheet, being able to fully understand the strengths and weaknesses in a business by looking at the set of accounts. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? We then ask the same question operationally. On a scale of 1 to 10, same thing. How good are you operationally? Now, if you're like 99% of the business owners I speak to, they're really good operationally. They're very proud of it. They're good. I'm a really good painter and decorator. Our guy in our house right now is great. He's making a great job. He's just about finished the living room and he's partway through the dining room. And do you know what? It's like looking really, really good. It really is. And he's good at doing that. But is he good at marketing himself? Well, you know what it's like being a tradesman. The people are normally falling over their feet trying to develop that. But if he wants to go from being a one-man band, working all the time, to somebody who runs a painting and decorating business, where he employs people or subcontracts or whatever, where he's got 10 people out there every day. He's remember a very good friend of mine, Kevin, ran a ChemDry franchise. And he started off with him in a van going around cleaning carpets all day, every day, busy. And he managed to build his business up. So he had, I think at the end, when he retired, he had something like 35 vans out there, basically all over the south of England, from London to Bath to Oxford down to Southampton. All within that area, these vans going out every day. Kevin didn't clean carpets unless there was like a major problem and, he'd got 3 people off sick and they had to draft him in. He didn't do the work. He ran the business. He ran the marketing. He ran the operations. He ran the finance. Although he did have a finance person and a marketing person as well. He was sitting here doing the work that he should have been doing, running the business. He was a client of ours and we helped him to basically inside 2 years, he doubled the size of his business. And without telling you how much. It was, let's just say, into seven figures, okay? So, Kevin knew what he was doing. He got me in. He got some help, and we helped him to massively grow his business. So, think about what is, it would be a good exercise, actually, just to do a staff structure and work out what are you doing. And the truth is, you're probably doing everything, certainly if you're a one-person business, but also the truth is, most of it ain't getting done. Because you're too busy doing the work in the operations. So that's my real message. And wherever you rated yourself, when I asked you that 1 to 10 question, if you're like, as I say, 99% of the businesses that I speak to, you probably rated yourself as really good operationally, not very good financially, and probably even worse from a marketing perspective. And that is what kills most small businesses. If you've got enough sales and you can manage the money, the financial side of the business effectively, you're probably going to be successful. If you haven't got enough sales and your finance knowledge is really poor, you're probably going to go bust. It's as simple as that. Business is not easy, but it's not complex either. There's a set of rules, and if you don't follow them, you don't get anywhere. And if you want to get more sales, there's only one way, really, and that's to become better at selling and marketing. It just makes sense. And yet I speak to businesses all the time. 28 years, I work with thousands of businesses, hundreds of different industries. And when I ask them how much training do they do on a monthly basis on marketing, they tell me, well, we don't really do any. Don't really do any, Steve. We rely on word of mouth and a little bit of networking. How many times have I heard that? I wish I got £1 for every time I had. And it's killing small businesses. 80% of these guys at your BNIs and your FSBs and your this networking and that networking that are relying on networking are not going to be there in 5 years. There, I've said it. It's not necessarily the case, I know that, and I'm not decrying any of that. I think it's fine, it's good, but it'll only get you so far. If you're in a room at a BNI event and there's 50 people in the room, then your total market is 50 people. Now everybody says, well, it's not the people in the room, it's the people they know. Yeah, there's some truth in that, but the real truth is we've got to get ourselves known in our business. That's really my message. That's what I want to tell you. I want you to think about what you're doing, where you're spending your time, to think about what is the role of this person, this MD, managing director of whatever your company is and does. What are the roles that are being missed? How can you get more sales? Because that's an area to focus on, especially when times are tough. People, I hear people all the time, they go, oh, it's really tough at the moment, so I've cut back on marketing. What? Really tough, so you've cut back on marketing? What you should be doing, it's really tough, so I've increased our marketing. Not cut back on it, cut back in on it. It's just going to let you drift back. It's just going to let you reduce the amount of income, isn't it? Really, if you think about it. If I'm spending an amount of money and an amount of time on sales and marketing, and I reduce that by half, there's a pretty good chance that my business is going to halve. If I increased it and put more effort in tough times, it might just stay as it is, or it might increase a little bit. But the good news about tough times is all your competitors are doing exactly what you're doing. They're cutting back. So what happens is that because you move forward, there's every chance that you'll create additional income. So that's my message. I hope it's been of value. I hope it's been at least food for thought. And if you do want to know more from me, as I say, I've got loads of experience. I run a program called Results Mastery. It'd be great to have you on the program. It's every week. We meet together as a group of people to share best practice. We call it a Results Mastery Roundtable, although it is done online. We have an online marketing plan for you. I have some online training and a community where you can network with other people, with all my other members and clients and so on. And I got to say, it's almost my life's work. It's a brilliant thing, and my pledge to people who do become members is that you should get, providing you take action, a 12x return on investment. So on my website, you'll see it's all about turning your annual income into monthly income. Now, I want to be clear, this is not for people at Vodafone, turning over like whatever it is, 10 billion and you're going to make 20 billion. That's not going to happen. This is about helping, coaches, advisors, consultants, people in the helping industry, small businesses, to go from 50 grand to 100, to go from 200 to 400 or 500, and so on and so forth. So if you want to do that, give us a shout, book a meeting, go to steve-mills.com, click on one of the gold buttons, get yourself signed up for a meeting, and we can have a chat. There won't be any hard sell, and let's see if I can help you in some way. Thanks very much for listening.
Hello, Steve.
Why small businesses fail and what to do about it. In today's Results Mastery Live, I speak about why small businesses fail and what to do about it. Full stop. This talk is based on what I've learned over many, many years from a guy called Michael Gerber. Full stop. Gerber is the author of a fantastic book that I strongly recommend you buy and read called The E-Myth. It's a fantastic book, and